Hey guys, and welcome back to Pixel Cherry Ninja's channel. I'm really excited about this video. I mean, I'm usually excited about the videos I do, but I am super excited about this one. So SiPeed over here want to bring out a series of FPGA gaming handhelds, right? And I've been speaking to them privately and discussing what the do's and the don'ts, right? What we want and what we don't want, right? So before we get further in the video, guys, if you're not subscribed to the channel, then a subscription and a like is super duper appreciated. So a couple of months back, I started speaking to SiPeed regarding, well, these gaming handhelds. So they want to bring out three, right? So the first one they want to bring out is going to have 25,000 logic elements, and it's going to be a 2 to 2.4 inch screen. But this tweet here confirms it as a 2-inch screen, right? Things are still subject to change, but they may be going with a 2-inch one. And then depending on the success of that and how things go, the next one they want to bring out is going to be a 3.5 inch to a 4.5 inch screen with 60,000 logic elements. And then the third one, the final one in this series, is going to be the most powerful one, a 5.5 to 7-inch screen with 138,000 logic elements. Guys, seriously, I'm excited. So they sent me over the designs for what they kind of would like their first one to look like. So I initially got two kind of early draft ups and mock-ups. One of them was in portrait mode, so think about it as the original Game Boy, but a lot smaller, right? Because we're working with a 2 to 2.4 inch screen. And the other one was a horizontal design. Straight away, guys, I went with that horizontal design, even though something that small isn't going to be the most comfortable to play. But let's face it, right? If we've got something tiny that's a vertical design and we've got something that's horizontal, I'll definitely go horizontal. That would be more comfortable, right? I had a Game Boy Micro. The Game Boy Micro wasn't the most comfortable, but I imagine playing that in portrait mode, right? The guys actually listen, and that's what they're kind of going with. And another thing to point out here, guys, they're still looking for feedback. So any feedback that you have, leave it in the comment section of this video. SiPeed will be checking them, and based on the feedback they get, they will be implementing that into the design. This is a very community focused project, right? What they want to give the people what they want. Now, I absolutely love the Analogue Pocket, guys, but the Analogue Pocket, because of its design, that classic Game Boy design, when I hold it for a long period of time, my hands do cramp up, right? So many of the things that we've wished for, and a lot of you guys discuss this in the comments, was we always say we wish if Analogue Pocket brought out another limited edition Analogue Pocket, but this time in the style of a Game Boy Advance, so we can play it comfortably for hours and hours. So guys, like, super excited about this. Right, let's have a look at the tweet. So the tweet here says, we're designing open source FPGA retro game pocket powered by Tang Primer 25K, 32, 64 megabyte SD RAM, 2.0 inch LCD, 480 by 360 resolution, and mini HDMI output support for NES, SNES, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, etc. As tiny as 100 by 50 by 15 millimeters and a 1500 milliamps battery. Right, which kind of materials do you like? Any other suggestions? So guys, they're definitely after feedback. Now, what I've gone over a lot of stuff with them, but the main things that I've really emphasized is we need a good D-pad, right? When we talk Analogue Pocket, I love the Analogue Pocket. It doesn't have the worst D-pad, but it doesn't have the best D-pad. Sometimes I'm playing Street Fighter, I go to jump back and the guy just jumps up. Sometimes I'm playing Contra and it might be hard to get that diagonal at times. We're all aware of these issues, right? So I pointed out to them, guys, the D-pad needs to be the bomb. Now, there's a lot of good D-pads out there. For me, generally a cross style one works, and I've kind of recommended a Vita style D-pad. Now, of the many things I like about this company, they want to get this right. They don't want to use like a Vita clone and then end up in trouble potentially with Sony later for using something that is protected by copyright. So they're going to be using like a different D-pad. But I honestly, guys, I've emphasized it so much. I've even gone down to giving examples like the Analogue Arc D, which has a Saturn style pad. It's a great pad, but it's a great pad for arcade games and fighters. When it comes to like Mario Brothers, I don't like playing Mario Brothers and that. So a good cross D-pad is generally versatile. It's a jack of all trades, right? Because if you've got a good cross D-pad, you can play Contra. It's not going to get confused between down and down right. You're going to be able to roll a fireball on it. You're going to be able to play Super Mario World on there. We want an accurate D-pad. They're listening, and I really hope they deliver. I can't wait to like get a production sample before it kind of goes out into retail, so I can actually test it out and make sure the D-pad is accurate, because guys, I can't emphasize it enough. A good D-pad, we need a good D-pad. And the other thing that so the points that I'm making here are the points that I really like. I went overboard in emphasizing them. D-pad, and the second one was the screen. The screen needs to be of good quality, but even more so important, it has to have low display lag, right? We're talking like a couple of milliseconds, like minute, because there's no point having an FPGA handheld. If it's got a great D-pad, awesome. But if the screen has got a lot of display lag in there, it kind of defies the point, right? So those are the two things above everything else that I've just emphasized. Now, when I got the early designs, I got the mock-ups, the engineering mock-ups of a landscape one and a portrait one. There was some stuff on there, like the power button was too close to the D-pad, you may press it in error. So they've actually shifted the power button to the top of the machine now. So like I said, these guys are listening to feedback, and it's nice to have a company that actually wants to speak to gamers directly. My channel, I do a lot of handheld gaming, especially with the Analogue Pocket. I do a lot of FPGA stuff, and it's nice that they want my feedback. I'm happy to provide the feedback so we get something in the community. Among the other things as well, I spoke to them about adhering to open source. So if you're using someone else's work, some open source work, adhering to the license agreements and not being like some companies out there that will use the work and then won't like leave their code open. They'll close source their work after they've used some open source code. So they want to do everything right. This is intended to be a community driven project where people can port stuff over and literally bring whatever they want to it. Now, if we look at some cores that are available already for the Tang, and this is for the Tang 20K. So Nanto Mario, who's absolutely awesome, by the way, he's made a SNES core most recently, and the most recent release, it hasn't hit version 1.0 yet, is 0.6, but SNES finally runs on $46 Tang Nano 20K kit with accurate gameplay and even DSP and expansion chip support. This has been the goal all along. Tang Mega 138 Pro is also newly supported, and then it's got a GitHub link here. But going over to Nanto Mario's GitHub, you can see there's a NES core for the Tang boards already, and there's also a SNES one. So hopefully better and more cores will come, especially if we get it in a handheld form, right? And it's just out there for us to kind of play and enjoy it. But having a look at like the bigger screens of it, right? So initially the power button was like down here, so they moved that, that was one of the first things that I pointed out. There was a lot of other stuff that we kind of went through, but the main things was, a good D-pad, and hopefully this is an accurate D-pad and it does the job good. Screen, low display lag, and one of the other things I pointed out was, look, the power button was down here, can we move it? And I think that's the power button up there, right? So I just love the fact that they're actually reacting to the feedback I'm providing them. And guys, leave your feedback in the comments below. Like, they will go through it and they will take good points on board, right? So out of the colors, let's just go back, right? So we've got the white color one here, right? Which yeah, that's nice. This is the one I really like. I like transparent stuff. I like that smoky transparent look that this one's got. This is my favorite one out of the ones that they've shown. And okay, this one maybe for some if you want like a multicolored design. And I think there's a final one here. So yeah, I mean, guys, I'm super excited about this, right? So hopefully this one comes out sooner rather than later. And then after that, we get a more powerful one with 60,000 logic elements. Then we end up getting a third one with 138k logic elements. By comparison, the Mr. FPGA, the DE10 Nano board, has 110,000 logic elements. So this one, 28,000 extra logic elements. How that actually equates to what cores can be brought over, I can't exactly tell you that. It would be great if all the Mr. cores could be ported over to a more powerful one. So I'm really excited about this because I want an open source FPGA gaming handheld, and if this one does well, I'm sure SiPeed will then do the 60k one, do the 138k one, right? Because you know what, if it's selling and people like it, yeah, awesome. Why not make other ones? But guys, yeah, share your comments below. Like, share any feedback you have got on this, guys. Honestly, SiPeed are listening, and we can get a handheld that we actually want and like. Now, this is going to be cheap, right? To be honest, don't quote me on the price yet, but I think the final product, once it's released, of this particular, the first one here that you're seeing on screen now, right, is going to be like in double digits when it comes to dollars. Again, don't quote me on that, but one of the things they're focusing on is a cheap price, right? The Tang boards are known to be cheap boards, good value for money. So that's awesome. Also, the fact that you've got mini HDMI on this, so effectively you could play it as a little handheld, but you can also connect it to your display and play it out there. Guys, honestly, can't tell you how excited I am about this. I've been following this for a while. Like I said, I've been in discussions, and it's just a breath of fresh air to have someone that's involved in a project this big, a manufacturer of an FPGA board, that wants to speak to the community, wants community feedback, and wants to make sure they get everything right. Honestly, guys, I'm proper looking forward to this. I really wanted to do this video sooner, but once these designs were out, I thought, you know what, that's a kind of nicer time. So that's really it for this video, guys. Be awesome to one another, be good to one another, guys. If you're not subscribed, subscription, notifications, a like, all that good stuff is super duper appreciated. And I'll say it again, guys, leave any feedback below in the comments. It's super appreciated, especially regarding, especially if you know it will form a future FPGA gaming handheld. But that's it, guys. This is Pixel Cherry Ninja out.